I gave you a bunch of hand signals, or I told you to steal third. I'm not sure what the fuck I just did right there.
I'm going to bunt. I'm bunting. That's what I saw.
I heard that about you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's John.
Oh. Hey, it's Paul.
It's Eric.
And what if Geeks? And we're back again.
Paul the bunter.
Oh my gosh, so we got Captain Tangent, LCD, and the bunter.
Oof. That's a motley crew of, yeah.
It is indeed.
Welcome to the Batcave. Holy shit. All right, so you're getting another bonus episode. You are so fucking lucky.
You lucky dogs.
We just did this like a week ago. What the hell were we talking about? We dropped another bonus episode like 2 weeks ago. I forget.
We did moon landing, and then we did conspiracy.
Yeah. And then that's opening up a whole branch of shit that everybody wants to talk about.
It is, yeah.
So that's going to go...
Hey, let's start with that. I know we don't have enough time to start with
We
that.
don't have enough to tangent, but fuck it, let's tangent.
We don't have enough to start with that, but I did promise you in the text messages we could
before
bring
we
it up.
recorded, he said, let's let you jump into this because we don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, I have all the time in the world, but Paul doesn't have any time. And you don't
and
have
John
any
has to
time.
get up in 2
John
hours
has
to
to
go
get
to work.
up at 4:30 a.m. So no. I was gonna let no. You wanted to bring up the Area 51 thing because that's gonna lead into
damn it.
a
Okay.
conspiracy theory episode we'll do down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, real brief because this is going to lead into another episode. Like you said, thank you. Do you know about this whole thing online? Okay,
Yeah.
so apparently
storming Area 51.
Yes, we're storming Area 51. Did you hear how we're going to do it?
No.
Yeah. So apparently this dude or a handful of dudes posted online streaming, hey, let's on September 20th, let's storm Area 51. Let's see them aliens. They can't stop us all. Then they said, if we Naruto run, thank you, we can outrun the bullets. Okay. For those of you not in the know, Naruto is an anime, and they run across. Usually, it's the same open field that they're running across. As they reuse the same animation, but the dude is a little Japanese guy running across the damn field, and he's got his head down, his hands behind his back, and nobody runs like that. Well, they all want to run like that.
Every anime character.
Except, yeah, right. So, and it's specific to Naruto. That's where it started, I guess, whatever. Because I'm not the biggest anime guy. Sorry. But, boom. So now they're going to Naruto run to Area 51. I literally just forgot how to say area because of Naruto. Anyway, they're going to run in there. And, all right. One, even the guy that started this came out and said, okay, this was a joke.
It was a joke, yeah.
Two, the military came out and said, please don't do this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a please don't because you'll find something. It was a please don't because you're going to force our hand.
Yeah.
Okay. And then three,
Don't make us hurt you.
do you know how many people signed up for this?
1 million.
Last I looked, there was 1.8 million. I think it's probably higher now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it started like about a week ago.
Yeah.
This is A, why I pray for humanity, and B, where remember that part of me that I always talk about where it just kind of sits back and goes, wee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that part of me. I'm just begging.
See, this
please.
This is 1.8 million people that don't need to be here anymore. And
I will pay for this.
We will so enjoy using up their resources because they're just wasting space.
This is
I hope they
pay-per-view
do it.
all over. I'm telling you, you got pay-per-view written all over this damn thing.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck the Hunger Games. We got plenty of morons here that will die willingly and they don't even know it.
I think there will legit be 5,000 or 10,000 actual people
That
Yeah,
show
I
up.
think-
legit show up
That
at the
think
front
it's
gate
a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
and are surprised when they get arrested.
Yeah.
Like, they will be genuinely surprised.
Or worse.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
We're going to have what fucking day is September 20th? Because we might actually have to pay for a live episode.
It's
and
Friday, I think.
Do you want
Fuck it.
to know something really great?
we're doing a live episode.
This is my wife and I's 12th wedding anniversary that day.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have an extra special.
So you know
If they do it.
our part where we can't get together?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. You had to be married on the one day. All right. Anyway, yeah.
I legit
God,
hope
this
that.
is
It's better to collect afterwards. What are we going to watch it live? It's going to take like 18 hours for
Yes.
these 10,000 people to fucking get there.
I will take 2 days
and
of
then-
work just to live stream that shit.
We're going to wait for 2 days to see the one guy Naruto run and get shot
Yeah.
and fall on the ground. It's going to be really uneventful and it's going to be disappointing. And then the government's going to be putting out messages about how we're really sorry we shot this guy,
you know
but
what?
he tried to do an anime move on the base.
I have
Yeah.
faith in the three of us to do exactly this to that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. All right.
That'll be good
So-
content on whatever
So
whatever the show
The
is
following
we do after
Tuesday.
That. Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Eric. Some
Yeah.
idiot got shot on your fucking anniversary.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Oh
I
my
think,
God.
What that was leading into, though, is that we will at some point in the relatively near future, because at least I, and I hope you guys too, know enough people that really think there are aliens at Area 51 that we should talk about Area 51 and Roswell and all the evidence that something is going on there.
That's gonna be an episode. To this point though, with the whole Area 51 raid, did you see that Bud Light has come out with special cans?
No.
That anyone who can get an alien out of there and bring them to them, they will give them these like green with alien faces on them cans. So, yeah. So they jumped all over that.
That's
shit.
awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a Sunday, so we'll cover it on Tuesday. We'll be good.
Done.
Nice. Okay, there you go. All right. So moving on. Sorry, we tangent when we said we wouldn't. So this has become a 3-part episode of the second part of 2019. So the first episode was the movies. It was just me and Eric, and then Paul decided to grace us with his fucking presence, and we went through TV, and that would be Heather heat waving some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can get that out of there, but you guys can hear a nice heat gun going in the background. I don't think I can get that out of there later, but whatever. Fuck it. It's a nice breeze.
It'll probably filter out just as well as Witcher. That's what I was gonna say.
So yeah. Side note to the last episode, my wife just randomly commented, "Have you talked about The Witcher?" And we literally just talked about The Witcher. It was amazing. Anyway, we went through TV and kind of like ran like we normally do, way long. So now we were gonna jump into the last of 2019, would be the streaming services, but we realized it kind of goes hand in hand with what just happened now over the weekend. Would be San Diego Comic-Con dropped a whole bunch of shit, so we figured we'd just talk about that and kind of roll the streaming into that.
Yeah, and
So-
to be fair, this extends all the way into 2021. Yeah. So our previous episodes ended in 2019. This is going further.
This is going out. So yeah, and then at some point here, maybe next week we'll recap, at some point we'll recap all of this shit and then kind of briefly go over some of the show ideas that we had. That I keep trying to sit down with these two guys. Holy shit, I'm seeing double or one and a half of them. But we're trying to sit down and talk about this shit, and we'll figure out like what we're going to do for the rest of the year. Like I've had ideas for. I told Eric last week. Well, fuck it, we'll talk about it now. Come like very last week of September, all the way through October, I'd like to do like that entire month related around Halloween and horror movies and whatever. We can kind of like branch every week off of that kind of shit, and then kind of culminate in a Halloween episode thing, and then do the same thing right around Thanksgiving into the holidays whenever we can get together. Everything revolved around like holiday kind of something.
Yeah.
And then I said an idea that floated through my head would be akin to what we did with The Room, where we picked it apart. If all three of us sat down and watched a couple of the same Hallmark movies. So there you go. Something like that, where we might subject ourselves to punishment for your entertainment, but then we can just kind of like make fun of them or whatever. But something like that. We'll hash it out later. So because we're getting into like the end of the summer is going to lead us right into the holidays, and then we're going to be like balls to the wall as far as what we want to do. So those two big chunks of time I want to kind of dedicate to the Halloween horror stuff and then the Christmas holiday family shit, and we can kind of play around with that idea.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So going on to San Diego Comic-Con. It just happened.
Comic-Con.
Yes. So speaking of family and Comic-Con, this one dropped on me literally today because my wife is current on what we're talking about all the time. The Witcher. You'll hear that later. Sorry. Right before you guys came over here, she's been plotting and planning a family, at least her and Noah, to go most of next summer out to like California and kind of make a trip or whatever, go see her dad and this and that, whatever. And I'm going to fly out there at some point and go see them. And then just spontaneously today, I got that out. She goes, "Hey, when is Comic-Con in San Diego?" It just happened.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, but it's the summer, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "How much is it?" A lot of fucking money, but we can look at it. So she's thought maybe if we either start or end at Comic-Con,
Right.
then I can go to Comic-Con next year. I was like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. I don't need this kidney. I'm good.
Right.
Side note, I just kept hearing about this dude that sold his kidney for a fucking iPhone 6 way back in the day.
Wow.
We'll talk about that later. Dumbest
iPhone
moves
6.
you've ever made.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That's an article. Anyway, yeah. I'm all in. So apparently we're looking now at trying to end up or start our vacation next year in the summer at San Diego Comic-Con. So
I would certainly go for a day.
I was going to say, I know at least one of you is like,
Yeah.
I will
I
fucking
would do that.
sell blood to go there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure one of you assholes, if not both of you, is going to be flying out with me. So cool. Hey, we will podcast from outside the damn
It's
place.
not even
cannot
a
afford a
Comic-Con that matters. It's the fucking plane tickets. You got to pay $1,000 to get
Yeah.
there and back.
Yeah, because I do know someone who's connected that we might be able to get actual tickets cheap if we talk early enough. But yeah, it's the plane tickets and everything else. It's like holy shit. So yeah, so we'll talk about it more in the future.
Figure out an excuse to go there for work.
There you go. We will. There's a strong possibility that at least one of us will be talking about a live thing at Comic-Con next year. So going on to
All right,
this
so this
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con, yes, this Comic-Con. So I think I put these in sort of universe order or something, or genre order.
I don't even think I fucking printed this thing.
Oh, you didn't print this one? Hey,
No.
you could have mine if you want.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I can pull it up on my phone. Actually, I sent you the link. Why are you laughing?
It's gonna stop me, right?
It's on the thing. So the first one was Marvel because it had the most and the most interesting drops, I think.
Yeah.
So the first thing that so there was a panel. It was panel number 11 or some bullshit that Marvel did with Kevin Feige. Yeah. Feige. Sorry.
Jesus.
Kevin Feige. Yeah. So the first thing they started with was what's in Marvel Phase 4, and it was a whole goddamn
A lot of
slide.
shit.
With every movie, every TV series that's going on Disney Plus that's coming out for Phase 4. And that covered everything from now all the way through to the end of 2021, basically. So on that list, and we'll go over them all in a little more detail, but there's the Black Widow movie, which comes out May of next year, May 1st. Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is going to be a Disney Plus series in the fall of next year. The Eternals, which is probably going to be super interesting, but we'll get to that. November 8th of next year. Shang-Chi, Legends of the Ten Rings, that's February 12th of 2021. So moving to the following year. WandaVision, again, Disney Plus series. It'll be Vision and Scarlet Witch for spring 2021. Then there's the Loki series, which will also be Disney Plus, same time, spring 2021. Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, which I love that fucking movie name. How could you? God damn, they did a good job.
And
on
it's
that.
the first gothic horror movie they're going to do.
Yeah.
You heard that, right?
No.
Yeah, it's the first horror movie.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, so Marvel is going into the horror route. And Scarlet Witch is in it.
Yes.
I heard that.
I've got that
Yeah.
in my notes.
Which-
yeah.
They also said that the WandaVision series leads into that movie.
Yep.
So now they're doing what everyone complained about, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're leading all of these series.
Well, so-
they interact with these movies. Because Loki starts from Endgame.
Right, when he's
Zapped
Spoiler
away.
alert.
Zapped away, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not even a spoiler. It hasn't been released. How could you spoil something that isn't released?
Spoiling
Endgame.
Oh.
Okay, for the three of you that are on a fucking rock,
have you
my
seen
brother.
Witcher? Have you seen Witcher? What about Witcher?
It's gonna be under the. Talk about Witcher yet? Yeah. You know what? At the end of the year, bring that back again. Yeah. did you guys talk about Witcher? Yeah.
So, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. That's May 7th of 2021. Then there's the What If series.
Nightmare
on
is
Disney Plus.
sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nightmare is supposed to be the main villain.
Yeah.
Which I vaguely remember him from the comics. The one that's the biggest in my head.
I don't actually remember him.
It's funny because I remember seeing him as a strange villain, but the one that was key to me that I read with him in it was a Web of Spider-Man thing where he was like screwing with Spider-Man, and the whole comic, Spider-Man was like fighting with the Hulk, and then it turned out like it was just a dream because Nightmare was fucking with Spider-Man, and so it was like this whole thing, but. That was the first time I remember seeing Nightmare as a villain. And I was like, wow, this guy's kind of out there. But it's going to be kind of cool. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. So
and again, it's MCU, so...
How could it not be?
Yeah.
So there's going to be the What If series. That'll also be on the Disney Plus.
That's going to be awesome.
So we'll get into that, but that's going to be sort of like a alternate stories, alternate universe sort of.
It's where we get our name.
It's going to be animated though, yeah. But it's going to it's going to be the first, I believe, the first animated series that Disney Plus puts out as a unique production.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting too. And I don't watch a lot of animated stuff, but. Into the Spider-Verse.
Now, mind you, we're definitely jumping on the Marvel bandwagon because that's what they announced here. But as far as the Disney Plus streaming service, they've announced that like they're opening the vault.
Yeah.
So the entire vault is going to be available to whoever signs up for it. Side note: I'm wondering if Song of the South is going to be on
there. They've put that thing so far away.
I need me some Uncle Remus.
That's in a different vault.
The
deep underground.
The whole United States of Georgia.
It's somewhere in the upside down.
Remember that Naruto run to Area 51? That's about where
that's where they put it. They put it in Area 51.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what's really happening.
There's my one off-putting comment of the episode.
United States of Georgia.
So fall of 2021, there'll be a Hawkeye Disney Plus series, which I think is going to be 10 episodes too.
He's supposed to be training Kate Bishop.
Yep.
Now, I didn't see the entire thing as far as the announcement there. Is he training Kate Bishop, or is he training his daughter like he was in Endgame?
So that's not part of the Comic-Con release.
Yeah.
Okay, that's separate from the studio. But yeah. I actually don't know for sure.
So
because they did the whole thing right in the beginning of Endgame. Spoiler, damn it.
Sorry. Yeah, and he calls her Hawkeye.
Yeah, so
in the comics,
they nod
it's not,
to Kate Bishop, but they've done that before with the whole like Adam Warlock thing.
Yeah,
he was in Guardians, and then he was in Guardians 2. Or sorry, his bed was. He was a Cocoon in the first one. He was a Cocoon in the second one, but they actually acknowledged him in the second one.
Yeah.
So I will just say this, since. We're going to get to it anyway, but since Renner has signed back up for that role and it was a re-signing, he had already fulfilled his obligation. He's not going to do it for a few episodes, probably not even one season. I think you could expect more screen time than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a while. And here's the thing, too. As much as people complain about Hawkeye, not even Jeremy Renner, but they complain about Hawkeye, right? Because in this whole world, which we've talked about before, he even touches on in Age of Ultron. He's like, I'm out here with a fucking bow.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing? Yeah. But it speaks to the character. He's like that heart. He's there to make a difference, right? I think that's what this whole series is going to revolve around, is you can bring it smaller, and it doesn't have to be these fighting robots and whatever. He can go on these spy missions and this and that, whatever, and more centric to him, but flesh him out as a character. Because I really do like him. Even like when he took over the fucking Bourne franchise and it fell on its ass because they didn't try hard enough or whatever. I liked what they were trying to go for, but they kind of pissed it away. But I like him as an actor.
Well, it'll sort of depend on when they set this. Like, is it pre-snap? Is it after? When is this whole thing set?
So they didn't say, but I would assume it's after.
Right. Well,
I think if he's training...
If it's after, then he has to deal with the whole Ronin stuff. Like, he goes off the rails.
Go ahead.
A la Arrow, maybe. They're going to flash back to the Ronin shit. Kind of like where Arrow does flashbacks.
Yeah.
I hope they don't fuck it up like Arrow, because
but I think
in the first season it was cool in Arrow, and then once you got to like season 4 and you were still doing it, you stop that shit. Now you're just trying to force it.
Yeah.
You know?
But like he has to make her better than he becomes, right?
Sure,
and so there's that sort of redemption angle that they do.
Dude, I read somewhere that somebody else was going to take over the Ronin persona and they weren't going to follow.
There is another Ronin in the comics too. There's a female.
Yeah, and they weren't going to follow the full original storyline. And I don't know if that's fan theory probably. I don't remember where the hell I read that. I certainly didn't put it in the notes, so it's not official. But
all right, so you got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sorry, I'm just gonna jump through some of these so we can kind of breeze through.
So okay,
here's my. No, we skipped through most of these already. The last one was Thor: Love and Thunder, which I want to cover in detail later because
yeah.
All right, so
I've read up on that.
That's the next. So we just listed them all, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 things they put on the official Phase 4 timeline, and they happen between basically. Go ahead.
Did you watch the Marvel release on Comic-Con?
Yes.
Okay. Did you?
No.
Oh. I watched the slideshow that they put
up.
About
to ruin your life.
And then I also read, because nobody seems to have recorded it, the Kevin's interviews afterwards.
Okay.
So there's a lot there, and I've got a lot of it here.
When he's up on the stage, Feige goes, he's got all the stars, and they've got, like, Scarlett Johansson, all of them. They have, like, Black Widow hats, and so-and-so's got this hat, right? And he's talking about all these movies, and they're coming out like with the hats that match up to the logo to the new movie that's coming out, or the show that's coming out, right? And he says, like, we've had so much talking about, and it's the way he says it. You got to go back and watch it, because it's the way he says it. It gives you that like glimmer of he's leaving something out on purpose, right? He's like, we talked about all this stuff, and I'm running out of time, so we haven't had time to talk about the Fantastic Four. He says, we've talked about everything that's coming up, but we haven't had time to talk about the Fantastic Four. And everybody loses their shit. We haven't had time to talk about mutants.
Yeah.
And they lose their shit, right? So he's leaving it out there like, because everyone says, no, in interviews he said they're not coming for like 5 years. They've lied before.
Yeah.
So he's like, in this one, he's like, we just haven't had time to talk about him right now. You might see him in about 2 seconds. You never know. And then he goes, there's other stuff we haven't talked about, and he brings out, what's his name? You're gonna fail me on this one, Eric. What's the dude's name? He was in Westworld. He was in a couple other things. Fuck. Anyway, I'm gonna butcher this. Mahershala Ali.
Oh,
yeah, he was in Moonlight, Green Book, True Detective.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, but.
I know you want to get to that.
I have a theory for this.
But at the end of that video,
Mahershala.
He does.
Mahershala Ali, right? Yeah. He's like, yeah, something else we haven't talked about, and he calls him out, and he walks out, and he's holding the hat in his hand.
You don't have the printout, but it's right here.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I scrolled down, I found him. So he walks out, and Kevin Feige goes, yeah, like everyone here has got a hat. Oh, Mahershala, you've got a hat. What is that? And he puts it on. As he puts it on, you see Blade.
Yeah.
And then the whole fucking screen goes dark, and it just goes Blade across his fucking top in like blood red letters, and the whole place loses their shit. And I'm like, I'm in. I'm done. Fuck it. They've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. If you're not going to bring Wesley Snipes back, which I was always on the fence on anyway, I'm like, just redo it. I liked him, but go ahead and fucking redo it. You got a whole new world going on now. They're doing it, and I honestly, me and anybody else that I've spoken to so far that's seen it, can't think of a better fucking actor to do this shit. I think he's really going to blow it out of the fucking water. I think he is.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to Blade.
A couple things that strikes me about a couple of these things. First, why no mention of a Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
And why no Captain Marvel 2?
No, he did. No, he did say something.
So,
go ahead.
Well, I guess if you want to take him at his word, and he may be trying to misdirect you, this is it. These 10 things are Phase 4,
right?
And there's more coming, but this is Phase 4. Okay. But so there were some things he was specifically asked about in the follow-up interviews, which is why I read about them. And people said, why is there no Avengers tie-in at all anywhere? Right. And I actually put his quote in here from that conversation.
Yes, Avengers 5.
Yeah. So, he said, we had a movie this year. It was called Avengers Endgame, and it's very much an ending, as you saw, to so many of the characters. So Phase 4 is going to be about beginnings, and Phase 4 is about learning new things about characters you think you know, like Black Widow, and meeting incredible new characters like the Eternals and Shang-Chi, and going on new adventures with Doctor Strange and Thor. Okay, and then he said, and then all these Disney Plus shows, which I promise will be spectacular. I mean, he was basically saying, they've done in all the previous phases, I guess, or not all, but most of the previous phases, they've done sort of like tie-ins, and you got to make it bigger and badder and better.
Yeah. Well, you had to build up to the original Avengers.
I think he's saying that we're not doing that this time. We're expending the whole phase on building things up, and if there's gonna be an intertwined mini character thing, it's Eternals, which was also a quote he gave, which I didn't put in here, but he specifically talked about Eternals being, maybe I didn't, I forgot about it.
He wrote 3 spreadsheets. You suck for that one.
But no, he had a quote specifically about Eternals saying, like, this is going to be the show where all the characters are interlocked and you get super excited about all the different things happening and all the different superpowers, right? That's going to be it for this phase. So it made it seem like this is really, truly, these 10 are really, truly it for this phase.
So now, briefly speaking on Eternals, can anybody really speak on that? Because I vaguely remember them from the comics. I don't.
Well, it's not really a thing I followed.
Yeah, me either.
They were like these superhuman.
They were kind of like the New Gods in
beings,
DC.
Yeah, and there's jokes about that in the comics about them being like gods, basically.
Yeah, like they're like where you have like mutants and this and that the Celestials made here or whatever. The Eternals are like that next level of. They're above the Inhumans, kind of. Yeah. As I remember it, I don't. Yeah. And I don't remember.
Yeah, and there's some sort of connection that they've made just from commentary from the production studio and from Kevin about there's going to be this other group of people called the Deviants that are trying to like guide the Eternals to do different things. And
well, the Deviant, yeah. Well, you know who's the Deviant, right?
No, I don't know who's the Deviant.
Thanos.
Oh. Yeah,
Thanos is a Deviant. See, that much I know. I know Thanos.
So there's some other tie-ins and there's some different things going on. And the Eternals, while this is going to be, I think, a standalone movie, there's other things going on that tie it back into the universe. But I don't think that happens in Phase 4.
Right, yeah, no. But if you somehow tie the Eternals into the whole Deviants and Thanos thing, it kind of branches off. You tie the two Phase 3 and Phase 4 together. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I knew Phase 4 was supposed to be a new story, right? So Endgame and then Spider-Man: Far From Home was the end cap, which neither of you have seen. We'll eventually talk about that. We'll talk about it sometime, around The Witcher.
Yeah. Whenever The Witcher comes out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But that was like the epilogue to that, right? And then you go into this, boom. Phase 4 is supposed to be a new start for the whole MCU. With some of the new characters, right? So it's a whole new story arc, much like you have in your comics. But then they also said, and I don't know how true this is going to be later, but there's going to be 2 significant stories. One on Earth and one in space. So that's where you get like your Guardians and this and that, whatever, and we'll get into that here in a second. But you get like 2 different... You're not going to have like where they all necessarily come together. Maybe at the very end of like Phase 6. They'll come together much like they did in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, but you won't get any interaction really between the two. There's going to be 2 significant threats, is what the thing is. And I think, personally, I really do think that Galactus is going to start fucking playing a role in here at some point.
Well, so there are some references. The forge that the dwarves use in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
No, Infinity War.
Oh, it's Infinity War, sorry. Yeah, the Forge. So that's the severed head of a Celestial, right? Which are also being brought in.
No, that's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but that's also being brought in here, I understand.
Yes.
There was a relationship between the Celestials and the Eternals and the Deviants. Yes. That is all going to play out in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're going to tie it all together. So overall it's going to be one combined universe, but what the rest of my lowest common denominator don't understand. This is where I talk down to them. They don't quite understand how there's a story to be told, and you have to be able to branch these things together, and that's what they're trying to do here. All right, so moving on.
So we have some confirmed information for each of these shows, right? And some of them are plot lines, and some of them are just actors. So who knows? But I just figured it'd be worth talking about. So on Black Widow, you've obviously got Scarlett Johansson. That's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
it is an origin story. It starts with her birth, but it really focuses mostly, according to the studio, on like 15 years later after the USSR fell and she's in the US. And that's where the story really starts. I mean, you're going to get a little bit of that origin beforehand, but that's where it really starts off.
If we could scooch her beyond into like her 20s, I'll be okay.
Well, yeah. That'll be the interesting part of it because she has to get younger for this.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
whatever.
It's all pre-Infinity War and all that, right? So
I'm going to fucking jail. Go ahead.
Eternals. The only thing they put out about Eternals is the list of actresses, which actually
Angelina Jolie. I knew that.
Yeah, she's going to play Athena. The other one I
saw.
Salma
Hayek. Oh shit! I'm done.
Ajax. Yep. Yeah.
I'm in. Sorry.
So I mean, I think I was trying to go through this list. I think all the Eternals, like the main characters from the Eternals, are all in here. They're not all played by famous people or anything, but they're all in here, I think. So it's really going to be a full story that's only going to fit in a couple hours, which will be kind of interesting, but see how they do it. So the WandaVision, Paul Bettany.
Am I the only one that hates that name?
WandaVision?
No,
I hate it too.
No,
okay. Yeah.
That was a dumb
WandaVision is a dumb name.
Okay,
it is
you
a dumb
did
name.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You couldn't do,
Vision and the Scarlet Witch.
Vision and or Scarlet Witch and the Vision, whatever. Yeah. WandaVision?
Yeah. Now filmed in WandaVision.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen will both.
Hang on, get him a stick to bite on. He smells almonds or something.
Sorry, I was getting it tied up with the Wanda Romanoff thing or something. I don't know. So they'll both be back to do their original roles. That'll be a series. I think it's 10 episodes. I didn't write it down. I forget. But so as John mentioned earlier, this is supposed to play into the storyline of the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness film.
Yeah,
and that was according to Kevin Feige. He said it was going to play together. So.
Yeah, so right there, you already got my money. Plus, Olsen's pretty cute, so. Yeah. Dirty old man. Hi.
So the Loki series, which the only thing we know is that Tom Hiddleston will again play Loki. There's no change there, and that it's somehow going to tie into post in-game events.
There you go.
I think that's all you really know.
Yeah, we're not going to say anything else.
Yeah. So
fuck Turtle, spoil it.
Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch will be back in his role for Doctor Strange.
Can't wait for this fucking movie.
And then Elizabeth Olsen is going to join him. So this movie is going to be a team up of the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange.
And anyone who knows her in the comics, her hex abilities, while she is a mutant, they revolve somehow around magic,
sort of magical,
right?
right?
They're very, very magical. So it's like a natural fit. And I'm wondering... I wonder if that's where they're going to wind up kind of flowing it into maybe a reverse of the House of M storyline where it was Avengers Disassembled where like she went crazy and all this shit happened. And then she went, at the end of the issue, she was like, no more mutants.
Yeah.
And they were like, no more mutants, whatever. I wonder if something's going to happen there where she breaks reality more and that's where you get your X-Men.
Maybe.
Because she proves like, her and her brother really were mutants, and maybe he comes back to life, whatever. I'd love to see that fucker come back, because he didn't get his due in Ultron. Sorry. I really like that actor, and I like the character of Quicksilver.
Yeah.
You could have done a lot more with him. Then, didn't see that coming, and then he drops dead. Sorry. Okay. All right.
So
anyway.
the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus, all we know is Jeremy Renner's in it. We got nothing else.
That's all I need. I'm good.
Yeah, we talked about what might happen, but we'll see. And then the last one, which I told you to say, was Thor: Love and Thunder. So in the comic series, there were two different storylines. One in the late 70s, probably, and then one just a few years ago.
Just a few years ago,
2015 or something.
And that's probably what they're going off of.
Yeah. And so Jane
Foster.
Foster, thanks.
Yeah.
Jane Foster can wield his hammer.
Well,
of
for
course.
whatever reason, that'll be taken out of context later. Thank you for that.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
For more context, Thor becomes Odin's son, the Unworthy. For whatever reason, I don't remember that part either. I barely even glimpsed at these comics. But he becomes Odin's son, the Unworthy, and he's running around with like a fucking axe. Which, Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
So they're tying in that storyline, and they said Jane Foster is going to become Thor. And they brought back Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, again, whatever disgruntled shit they had in the past that was rumored, whatever. Hey, Disney dumps that money. I kept saying it. If they dump that money, you're gonna come running. And I like her. I mean, it's Natalie
this
freaking
is
Portman.
twofold: dump the money and powerful woman role. So
Yeah. Well, right. Yes, you're gonna have now she's the hero, and it's Natalie freaking Portman. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
she's
I listened to
gorgeous.
an interview when I was running this morning. It was about the first time she met with the director about this role. She walked out of the room and said, "Okay, we're doing it." And that was it. It was over.
Yeah, there you go. I'm good. I mean,
who
I'm
knows
game.
why? But
Now, I've heard already, like, the first few articles I read about it were, the fanboys are going to be up in an uproar, but, they're up in an uproar about everything.
Right.
So, I don't remember, like I said, I didn't read that storyline, so I don't remember the arc. I just remember seeing it and going, that looks interesting,
It's about the same time that they changed Iron Man to the teenage girl.
Yes,
It was,
and that was,
Yeah.
yes, because they were trying to do the whole
let's get new audiences for these books.
kowtowing to the SJWs a little bit.
Yeah,
They started that because they started to lean too hard into that.
and they listen, comics have been sold to teenage boys since the 50s, and so they thought let's sort of expand this market and try to get some girls to read.
They
these
went from
things.
an extreme on one end and kind of like
Yeah,
a little too far.
yeah. They didn't pump the brakes at all in the middle, which goes again. Push your message the right way, and you get it. But
So
right there, they kind of they overshot in the comics, and it backfired on them. They backpedaled.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, we fucked up.
Well,
So they're gonna still tell these stories in the movies, but maybe they'll tell them a little more scale back.
Yeah.
well, Disney owns it now, so they're not telling shit scaled back.
Now, have they announced that
Sorry.
Chris Hemsworth is going to be in this movie, or is it just all?
They have not. No Chris Hemsworth.
No,
as
he's
far
gonna
as
be
I
in
know.
it.
He's going to be
Yeah,
in it? Okay.
yeah. He's it.
I didn't see anything about that in the
Yeah.
official
Yeah, and
commentary.
Taika Waititi is directing it.
Oh,
so
okay.
at least
Alright,
you know
alright.
it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing we have here, to what you were just talking about, and it was officially announced, Valkyrie is going to be a bisexual.
Yeah, she came out on the. And okay, here's one. I don't have a problem with it.
Actually, for this
she
one,
comes out.
there's two reasons not to, though, because it was sort of suggestive that way in the comic to begin with.
Is she gonna be a bisexual? Or is she gonna be straight?
No, she's gonna be bi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna be bi. And the second thing is the actress that plays her, Tessa Thompson, is actually bi in real life.
Well, I'm more turned on. Okay.
So I think the two things together work perfectly fine here, and as long as they don't force it. But what I heard from the official
that's
message,
where you went wrong. As long as they don't force it, that's
Yeah.
right there.
so the official message was that she was seeking her queen in this movie. and
Yes,
that
I
made
saw
me
that.
like,
She was
okay,
up on the.
Did you really
SD
have to do it that way?
She was at the Comic-Con panel, and they were talking about the movies and whatever, and she was like, well, yes, and she kind of patted herself and said, Valkyrie is the new king of Asgard. Everybody cheered. And then she said, as king, she's got to find a queen, and she smirked. And then everybody lost their minds. Again, it's cool. You do whatever you want to do with her, but if it looks like you start to force it down your throat, then it loses something, Yeah. You can have your message. Do it. Go do your story. She could be bisexual. She could be lesbian. She could be whatever she wants to be. But make it natural to the story. Don't all the women of the fucking Avengers suddenly happen to be in the one spot to fight Thanos.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. That was stupid. Again, I fight against every fucking alt-right asshole that was going against Captain Marvel.
Yeah. It's
There
not
was
unusual.
nothing there.
It wouldn't be unusual for a character of a race of female warriors to have them be bisexual or lesbian.
That was the argument with...
it's the same thing with Wonder Woman.
Diana, Diana.
So it works for Valkyrie, right? I agree. No problem.
Yeah.
It works. But in a follow-up interview, he was asked specifically about the LGBTQ thing.
Here it comes.
And he said 2 of the characters are going to come out, and some you haven't seen yet. And he didn't give any more info, but what does that mean? So one character we already know, aside from Valkyrie, that's obviously been released already, is going to end up being gay or bi or trans.
Yeah, and on...
Who the hell's going to be?
Yeah.
Who the hell's going to be?
To one of our snide comments earlier, Disney does have recently an affliction, or I can't think of the word, but they have, this is their way they're going to do things, and it's always kind of in that general
This is the word
direction.
You're looking for right here. It's a propensity.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Thanks. It's too small on my phone. Propensity. It was literally the one I was looking for. I was like, I couldn't pronounce it. I smell burnt toast again. Having a stroke, you fuckers. Yeah, they've got a propensity for pushing their envelope and pushing their message. And again, do it the right way, and I side with you. And don't do it the right way, and I'm totally against you. So, I don't know. This one's kind of rubbing me the wrong way right now, but we'll see.
I'm okay with Valkyrie. I think Valkyrie makes sense of all the characters.
I agree with her. I just think the way they're pushing it right now with their releases, I think the way they're pushing the news about it, I think is going to be wrong. And I think there's going to be a lot more people more against it than I am, because I'm perfectly fine with it. But
I think more people will have a problem with Natalie Portman being Thor than they will with Valkyrie being into women.
I think that's going to overshadow it. Yeah.
Side note: she posted a picture at Comic-Con.
Yeah, holding Mjolnir.
Yeah, but she's like, "This is the before." It's like she's going to get cut for the role or something.
Oh, really?
Which I can't even imagine.
Damn! Now I got to go follow Natalie Portman on Twitter. Shit.
She's so little. I just can't even imagine her being cut. And there was some extra talk. I don't even know. Fucking something I was listening to this morning about Brie Larson getting buffed up for Captain Marvel, and I'm thinking, was she buffed up for Captain Marvel? Did that happen?
There was some videos of her like walking and pulling vehicles. And shit,
lifting up a car or something.
Yeah, but then the assholes that hated her like posted the pictures of her like no ass in her uniform. Like,
well, I'm not knocking her, but she wasn't like cut for the shit. I mean,
I knock everybody. It was fine.
No, I'm not even trying to say like
it wasn't like they did.
Here's my thing though.
Captain Marvel, you don't have to be
buff
in the comics. It wasn't even like a thing.
Yes, you don't have to be buff for these things because you have these superpowers that allow you to do this shit. You could be me and throwing fucking planets around, and that's fucking saying something.
They're all in shape, and there's videos of all the Marvel characters of working out with their trainers and whatever. And so she wanted to get in good shape, but it's not like they did a scene like in I don't know, what is it, Terminator 2 with Linda Hamilton doing pull-ups, right? Like there's not one of those where you see her guns.
Probably what makes me unfortunately attracted to Linda Hamilton. Well, kind of found her hot in the
right. There's not one of those scenes. So
awkwardly attracted to her. Anyway,
okay, so 3 things that were notably not on the slide they put up of the future productions. One was the Blade reboot, which is really awkward because they had
that was their surprise.
Mahershala Ali come out. So is it not?
Yeah, but that was their shock. No, but that was their shock thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it means that movie isn't coming out till 2022 because it's going to be part of Phase 5. Either way, this is the question I want to ask.
But I think that was like their shock because they got to hold something back to shock the audience, to get the internet talking.
There's a lot of things they could have held back, though. I just feel like that's.
Well, you can't be saying something stupid. Yeah, they could have held back a lot, but no, that Blade thing, that was their little tidbit, and I think the way he worded the Fantastic Four and the mutants thing in that speech.
So what? So Blade is going to be one of the MCU movies that's in this phase, and they just haven't said it, and they didn't put it on a timeline?
I think so.
Anyway, whenever it comes out, I don't give a shit. It's part of the MCU. It's always been sort of part of the Marvel Universe. So it will be part of the MCU, obviously, right? It's part of this. It's part of the release. He's on stage.
Uh-huh.
How the fuck do they bring vampires into what they built so far?
You've got Doctor Strange.
Oh,
He's got this whole occult thing, right? Here, now you've just opened up.
Dude, if they do that, I'm
Blade.
I'm going to give you $100.
Wait,
that's crazy.
Blade, Ghost Rider, the fucking Midnight Suns. You've got a whole dark universe that, well, Universal tried to do, but they fucked it up.
Yeah.
Marvel's going to show them how to do that shit too. Dude, yeah, there's a whole
It can be part of the
Hell,
multiverse.
New
is
Mutants,
yeah.
before Fox sold themselves off to Marvel, New Mutants was supposed to be the first horror movie with superheroes. And then they just canceled it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because Disney has even still said they ain't changing Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. That's going to be R-rated. And they're still working at trying to put him into the PG-13 kind of shit, like I said before. And if I call that, there you go. Save your $100. When I call Deadpool the right way, come talk to me.
If Deadpool ends up PG-13, I'm just going to
No,
stop.
he's going to be in the PG-13 movies throwing a fit that he can't be R-rated. But he's going to be like the... he's going to be the Stan Lee cameo in the PG-13 movies. He's going to be bouncing around from universe to universe.
I could see that in a Phase 5 X-Men movie.
You watch. They're going to find a way to
use.
use him. But they're going to keep him in the R-rated shit. They are starting to do R-rated shit. They are. There was something else I read, and I can't remember what it was, but it had nothing to do with Marvel. But there was something else that Disney was doing that was an R-rated movie. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, you got that.
All right, so Avengers 5 wasn't on the list, of course. Kevin already addressed this. We already talked about it. There was no... Even though he mentioned the names, there was no Fantastic Four or anything X-Men on any of the lists. So that's another question that's open.
There's 95% of me that says he mentioned them for a reason, and 5% is just him keeping the fans guessing.
Yeah.
But I think there's something there, because they've been in talks for this shit for a long time. If you don't think that they had a way to... Who bought the Baxter bill, or... Who bought Avengers Tower? I think it was Oscorp. I think they bought it. But, you know what I mean? Like, they've been working this shit there, or they've at least had shit in there that they can, like, okay, we can fill this in here. They've got it. And that's why he's starting to fuck with people. Mark my words.
All right, and then last one before we get off Marvel. There was no Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was not on the list. And I think you and I talked about this last week, John, but with the director switching and James Gunn being brought back, and then he's already on a DC movie, and there's too much going on. There's probably no way they could get it out before the end of 2021, and more likely 2022 anyway. So I think that'll end up being part of Phase 5.
Yeah, I think that'll be 2021. Yeah.
Well, supposedly from this release at Comic-Con, this is everything through 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Supposedly. I'm not going to say they blatantly came out and said this is it, no doubt, everything through 2021.
Right,
but
before we get on to anything else with this Marvel shit, because you keep trying to jump in, we got to let some people go to bed like me. I think Guardians is going to come out sooner than that. Maybe 2020. I think next year Guardians will drop. I think it'll be quicker than you think it's going to be, because a lot of people have already been on board for that. It was already pretty much written. Everything was ready to go, right?
They got to wait for Gunn, though.
So, yeah, but Gunn is, no pun intended, gunning. That was his baby. He had it. Now, I think they'll drop it soon. Or you'll hear more news about it soon. Or if it's not 2020, it'll be very early 2021. It's going to be coming soon, right? But have you heard the rumors about the kid from Stranger Things?
Adam Warlock. We talked about this last week. I haven't heard
the kid who
but
plays
you told
Billy.
me.
I can't remember his name, but Deco, whatever, right? The kid who plays Billy in Stranger Things. They've pegged him. Everybody wants him for either Wolverine or Adam Warlock.
Right.
And I'm like, now in the last season, well, okay, you saw him in the second season too, but in the last season you see him shirtless most of the time, which is, well, there you go. There's my homoerotic statement for the night. He's got the cut. Okay, he can do a Wolverine. He can do a younger Wolverine, which I like. He can hang on to that for a while. They also said, if not there, Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And even like you look at the old school comics that we read where he's kind of got longer hair. Yeah, maybe not the mullet that he's got in Stranger Things, but you cut his hair a little bit.
Yeah.
Either one of those fucking roles, I'm like, I'm game for this kid. Like,
I'd be in for that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Because the kid is a good actor. He is. I know, like, a lot of times we don't really specify on who we love as an actor or a director or whatever, but this kid is really good, and I want to see him do other, like, bigger things. And if he's out of Stranger Things now, spoiler, if he's out, dude, yeah, MCU fucking scoop this kid up.
Yeah.
If you make him the next Wolverine, holy shit, you've got a franchise. Again, I mean, and that's just speaking on what I know. I have to go back and look at see, like, you know, what else he's done, if anything at all. But speaking on what I know, from what I've seen of him, he's a good enough actor. He can do. You get a good enough director behind him, they can make a good Wolverine movie out of him, or give him to James Gunn if you're not going to do that, and let him run wild with fucking Adam Warlock. And so either way, I think he's going to be epic. But yeah, they first talked about him being Wolverine, and I'm game on that one. I think it'd be epic. All right, moving on.
I'll trust your judgment, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
Better.
seeing it, but
so a younger,
Yeah.
ultimate universe Wolverine kind of thing. All right, good. So now we're on to DC.
DC. Off Marvel, on to DC. There's just one thing to talk about, I think, and that's there was another Watchmen trailer that was released at Comic-Con.
Yup.
And if you remember the first one, it had the, Rourke mask, whatever the hell.
The Rorschach
thing.
mask
Yeah,
and all the
sorry.
TikTok.
Yeah, the new one is nothing like that, but all the half the people in the new trailer are in masks.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing about how you can trust people in masks, you can't trust people in masks. How can you tell if somebody in mask is a vigilante cop or a vigilante or a cop in a mask, something like that. They make all these weird references. So there's some weird thing going on with this superhero's absence, I guess, in this, because this all takes place in the Watchmen universe, but has nothing really to do with the Watchmen, except in the second trailer, Dr. Manhattan is shown twice. So once he's shown on Mars, where he should be, because that's where they left him, right? The second time he's shown walking on the street, and he picks up. You only see his hand, but it's him. There's no question. His blue hand.
Right.
He reaches down and he picks up a mask and puts it on his face. But either way, there's Dr. Manhattan. So he's somehow tied into this, but I don't think he's a real part of the story. But this is all about the...
Sure, part of the story is probably him coming back from Mars.
Well, it might be. But I mean, the big focus is like the fallout of what happened post-Watchmen movie, right?
Yeah. So when we talked about this last time, I think I'm accurate in this is definitely post-graphic novel, post-movie.
Yes. And we talked about the letter from the guy who directed it, who wrote this really long letter.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And said, I didn't want to do
I think
it.
we posted that.
Yeah.
Did we post that on the page or something?
I've been approached about this 3 or 4 times.
One of you guys did. I was drinking.
Yeah. He went through, how his father had health issues and some other stuff and was abusive in some ways, and it sort of the Watchmen gave him solace and some other stuff, and he didn't want to make this, but he ultimately, was approached about it a number of times, and he thought, all right, this is meant to be, so here we go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
This trailer is way better than the first one we watched, though. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and look at it. But I mean,
what's coming out? It's HBO, right? No. The fuck is watching AMC?
I think
it is HBO.
I know.
HBO because it came off after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I think it's HBO, but
I think it is.
I'm right.
I'm surprised DC is really ceding a lot of ground to Marvel in this stuff. Like, there's a Wonder Woman movie coming out next year. There's some other stuff.
1984, and you really...
But based on how well the first one did, like,
it's
why are you not having another trailer drop for this movie? Why are you not doing some more stuff?
Going on, okay, like you said, what Wonder Woman did, because Wonder Woman was the first one that was like, holy shit, this was good.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up with Aquaman.
And then Shazam.
And then fucking Shazam. Shazam was amazing.
Yeah.
Why are you not capitalizing on this? Again, look, the three of us need to go run fucking DC, Warner Brothers, whatever the fuck. Whoever's in charge of that shit, whoever the Kevin Feige is,
they don't have one. That's their problem.
Well,
we should be talking about this.
No,
it should be the three of us.
Yeah, they've really done a poor job.
I sat here.
I think we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, and really I even sat here with Paul, BE. We sat here and I walked through right after we talked about Shazam when we watched it. It was like right before you got here. And I literally walked through the entire DCU, how you could redo it. Mm-hmm. And it was perfect. And nobody's calling yet. Or it's one of the ones that my phone keeps saying is like
Marvel's in
possibly spam. So.
Marvel's done 20 and change movies.
Unknown caller.
Now has a phase 4 where they've got movies for the next couple years and beyond. DC can't pull their heads out of their collective assets.
No, they really can't. And they started it, which is the really sad part.
That's been my argument. From the time we started this fucking podcast, I'm like, why can you not get this together? You have the fucking Trinity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and back in the early it was probably the 80s they started with the Michael Keaton Batman, right?
Marvel did this with fucking Iron Man and Blade and whoever else.
You wouldn't have known. What I was going to say is you wouldn't have known back then that they were fucking up, but they really were.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you look back on it, you're like, how did you let this happen? Because like I told him, I was like, I now, sure, everybody knows all the MCU characters. But when you look at all of them across the board, my grandmother, who is off the boat from fucking Italy, knows who Superman is.
Right.
Really? How can you possibly fuck that up?
And they took the three most iconic comic book characters, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and did decent with them. Marvel took C-list character. Doctor Strange is a nobody character.
Nobody. When they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I said, this is where they fuck up. Remember when we talked about that? I was like, this is where they fuck up. And they were like...
They're about to take...
They Babe Ruth that motherfucker.
They're about to... Right in Phase 4, they're about to introduce Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, who is...
Everybody wants it.
In the 70s was created to sort of... They're like, well, Bruce Lee...
Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee in these Kung Fu movies are killing it now. Make a character that's kind of a ripoff of that.
And everybody wants it.
Yeah.
How the fuck...
And now the guy, like, whatever actor they pick to be Shang-Chi is going to be, like, the next household name of a character that, like, was a complete ripoff. They're going to make $500 million with that sort of made-up
Side
shit.
note, we're going to have to figure out who the hell that guy's going to be, because he's going to be like some
he's a nobody.
He's got to be a nobody.
That's why I didn't put... Yeah, they did. That's why I didn't put it on the list, though, because I didn't even recognize the name.
And you've got the three most well-known characters in the world, and
they made a movie about a fucking planet giving birth to a kid.
Yeah.
So
shut up.
He's a Chinese Canadian actor named Simu Liu.
Bless you.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. There's my one for list.
Yeah.
Okay, and
you know what? Fuck it, I'm rooting for him. He's going to be a mega millionaire in about 2 seconds.
If you go read the press releases on this, they are capitalizing. You talk about Disney, they play on those things. He will be the first Asian superhero to lead a Marvel feature film.
Yeah. Of course,
right?
Yeah.
So half of you has to wonder, is that why they picked that character so they could just have that sort of headline like, hey, we got the first Asian superhero.
Sure. Yeah.
Look at us.
I actually talked about this way long ago.
And they say Asian, which is funny because he's Chinese.
Right. Well, sure. But I joke around, well, he's Canadian. So he's going to kick your ass about it, but he's going to feel sorry about it.
But they could have taken...
that's the first Shang-Chi joke. There you go.
And maybe they don't have, because Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil have been Netflix shows, so they don't have
but the
them.
Iron I was about to jump on the Iron Fist thing.
Yeah.
Because here's where I pick on my fellow LCDs, because they're fucking idiots. They all jumped on the Iron Fist thing. Do you remember this? There was an uproar about, why is he a blonde white guy?
Yeah.
Why, blah, blah, oh my God. He's Iron Fist. He's supposed to be... Did you read the fucking comics? He's a goddamn blonde white guy who gets adopted by a bunch of Asian people in a fucking...
mystical monastery.
Yeah, in a monastery. Holy shit. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then at that point I said, when you make Shang-Chi, you do this. And, oh, look, hey, and that was when we first started, almost half a fucking year ago. I was talking about this shit. Ta-da! Yeah. But yeah, these fucking idiots talking about like, oh, you're fucking appropriating culture, and no, Danny Rand is a fucking white dude. Yeah, I know we're an hour into Danny Rand. Yeah, I don't know.
we're doing all right. I mean,
we're almost at the end of your list anyway. So all right, we're 5 tangents into whatever the fuck we started at DC, and we somehow wound up back on Marvel. Yeah, because Marvel does everything right. All right, DC.
No, that's exactly why we ended up back there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. DC, Watchmen, please, for the love of God, do this right.
No, I think it could be really good. It could be really good. I'm not knocking it yet. I was after watching that first trailer. No more. I think they could do something good with it.
I think so too. But well, every time, whatever. Okay. All right, moving on. You've got horror.
Yeah. I was jumping into the horror genre. Okay, so there's a good reason that I jumped in the horror genre, though. So
because we're halfway through the summer, and John can feel Halloween coming.
I wanted to bring this up last episode, but we were like negative 30 minutes. The time constraint was gone.
My kid was in here talking about fucking Legoland. That's how bad we were.
So the Halloween franchise is formally getting 2 new sequels, but they're sequels off the original Halloween movie.
All right, wait.
All the shit in the middle is like gone. So it's Halloween Kills, which comes out October 2020, and then Halloween Ends October 2021. Right? And so I want to read you this before you say anything. So Blumhouse said the saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode isn't over. And then this is me talking. This isn't the quote, but this will probably be the complete trilogy for those 2, right? But then that means that they're branching off. They skip a whole thing in the middle, and they're branching like completely off. And
did you miss Halloween like last year?
Oh no! I didn't miss Halloween last year.
So your trilogy thing just kind of goes up. Oh, side note, okay. What's the one that just happened? We talked about in the movies. Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah.
I did
oh my God! The funniest fucking thing that happened all week last week. We were talking about like all these movies coming up, and I said Angel Has Fallen. He was like, "This looks really good," and he's talking all this shit, and I'm watching him, and you know how I am when I read. I said, "You do realize this is a trilogy, right?" And he went, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, no.
He had no fucking idea
about Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Nope,
nothing at all. Nope. So go back to that episode and listen to that one where I call Eric out on his shit. I was like, dude, really? It was funny as shit. I'm looking at him like, he's got no clue.
No, I really didn't. I really didn't.
Okay, so you do know.
I never heard anything about those previous movies. I didn't know shit about them.
So fucking epic. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this looks pretty interesting.
It was hilarious. He was like, this angel has fallen. It's amazing. Blah, 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 blah. Where he's going to save the president. And I'm like.
We've done this twice.
I'm looking forward to it too, because I mean I like George Butler and I like Morgan Freeman. I like the movies, but I'm like, oh, he doesn't know. I had that moment like,
you don't ever have to feel bad for me though. Yeah. You can definitely.
No, I don't, because most people will feel bad for me every time they listen to this fucking show. So it's cool. Yeah, again, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. Anyway, going back to horror. So the Halloween thing, because you wrote down, it's. The saga of the two of them.
I was thinking Jamie Lee Curtis.
But this would make 4 movies.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It would. Because she was in.
Somebody write that shit down. She was writing twice in 2 weeks.
From 2017 or something. When was
it was 2018. Yeah, the one that just happened.
The,
was like
the last one they had,
Because they had the first Halloween movie when she was like a nobody, and she was the only reason she even got cast was she was the daughter from the girl from Psycho.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, you go to bed? All right. Give me a hug. Love you. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Noah's going to bed. Say goodnight, Witcher.
Have you seen Witcher?
Have you seen The Witcher? You know that's not going away anytime soon, right?
Oh, awesome. Thank you. She will love this. That is amazing.
Oh, I know what that is already.
She will really love this. Uh-huh. Thank you.
This show has been brought to you by Happily Ever Crafting.
That's right.
No, you're right. So
No music. Okay.
So I'm reading back through John Carpenter's commentary on this, trying to remember what the hell I was reading, and he was saying the reboot ended with the Strode family seemingly prevailing over Michael Myers, and then that's where the next movie will take off. Okay, so it's really the first one rebooted to last year. And then that starts.
Yes, and when we reviewed the last one,
it's more of a sequel. It's not a reboot. It's a sequel. It's more
a
of a
sequel, but it's kind of it's a requel. It's a requel.
Yeah, it's like a re-energized.
That's what we're gonna throw in the requel thing, where it's like when they eliminate half of the bullshit that's come, and then they go okay, because when they first announced it, we thought it was going to be after 2, but it turned out to be after 1, which was cool. Because, like, he really falls down, they want to pick him up, and they arrest him, whatever. So now, at the end of that one, though, we reviewed it, I think. That might have been BE, too. Yeah. But we talked about it, and, like, we know where it's going to be a vague spot that they can do it, but there's
room. Nobody. There's nobody.
Yeah, there's nobody. That's where we kind of ended it, like, our review. It was like, well, there's nobody. So
you're talking about the last movie?
Yeah, the one that just happened.
Breathing in the credit roll, there's like a
right, yeah. Well, that was our point. Was like
that was like he's coming back. This is like a classic
we said
80s thing.
We said that then. We're like, you don't see you see it where it looks like there's no way for him to get out, but then like you kind of hear it and whatever. So you don't know what's going to happen. But then it blew up, and you get to this point where now you've got 2. I thought I only knew 1.
No, so it's 2. They officially announced 2 at Comic-Con.
Nice.
So 1 will be 2 weeks before Thanksgiving next year, and 1 will be 2 weeks before Halloween the year after that. So there's going to be 2. Jamie Lee Curtis has already signed up to both.
Well, I guess we know at least one episode we'll be talking about.
That's right.
For 2 years. Shit.
And then, so the other one I had listed under horror was the Walking Dead franchise. So 2 announcements came from that franchise. 1, there's going to be a 3rd spinoff series.
By the way, this is shit I've already mentioned.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a 3rd spinoff series. They've confirmed it. They're going to do one. Yeah. We have no idea what channel it's on.
It's supposed to be. It's going to be AMC.
It's got to be AMC. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be children that grow up in the current universe, whatever. So this is all they know.
So it's the 3rd movie or the 3rd series in the 3rd generation. Is that how it goes? Some shit.
Yeah.
So the other one, which I don't think we ever talked about, was they did a teaser. Trailer would be the wrong word, but a teaser for movie.
Yeah,
for
it was
Walking
a straight
Dead.
teaser, and that was announced.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for last. Was it last season of Walking? Yeah, last season of Walking Dead. The mid-season though, when Rick supposedly dies in an explosion, but then you see him get carted off in a helicopter. They announced right after that there were going to be movies revolving around Rick.
So all the teaser does is give you the music and the Walking Dead logo. It plays it for like 15 fucking seconds, and then all it says is in words, Rick Grimes will return, only in theaters.
Yeah, only in theaters. And now the helicopters with the same little tri-circle logo, whatever, have shown up in Fear the Walking Dead recently too. So they're starting to gel them all together again, which they did before because they moved Morgan from Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead. But it's starting to kind of gel together. So maybe we'll, one of those Halloween weeks, we'll break down some Walking Dead shit. We can maybe we'll incorporate that into an overall zombie thing because I love zombies, but I don't think anybody wants to hear us talk about Walking Dead for 17 fucking years. So
that's what Talking Dead is for.
Yeah, exactly. They already got a show.
They got a whole show.
It's an hour after.
Trying to put Chris Hardwick out of business.
So
I can do it. I'm more personable than that fucker.
I think
Sorry,
hopping to Star Trek, we had. Paul told me to throw this in on the last episode, and I thought, well, since they did the trailer release at Comic-Con, we should probably just do it in this one.
Yeah.
And so it was Star Trek Picard. So this is the story
Looks interesting.
What happens to Captain Picard after he retires, after everything's over. What does he do, right? So that's what... And I have no idea what's in it. The trailer looks super cool and interesting.
A lot of bedpans.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a lot more than that. Of course, Patrick Stewart is back to play his original role.
I love Patrick Stewart.
Change there. I don't. This is a series, but I don't know how long it could last.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be on CBS All Access.
Oh yeah, very important.
So it's on CBS's streaming service, and the teaser trailer
Another streaming service
just has him sort of walking in this vineyard, and then talking about the rescue mission and all the stuff, and then he says, "I'm trying to be at home here, but it never really feels like home."
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be over. He makes that really clear.
And then you see
because he always talked about the vineyard, on the show,
the bottles of wine that say Chateau Picard, and then you just see his face. Then there's a second trailer that has him go. Some young woman shows up at his place, and he seems to know who she is, but you don't really get the sense of how he knows or who she is. It doesn't really explain. He has to go to Starfleet and explain, if she is who she says she is, she's in a lot of danger. And then he ends up with this what looks like a crew of people, and then he's walking. Oh, and then he says, 20 years ago, Commander Data gave up his life to save me, and somebody opens a drawer, and there's like Data's face, and then his torso, and then like one arm and both his legs, and it's really sort of weird. And then they close the drawer, and then there's different people that seem like they're going to be a crew, and then somebody says, like, "What are you doing, Picard?" And the camera turns, and it's Jerry Ryan with the little Borg thing on her face.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, little 7.
I didn't watch it. I know you guys sent it to me, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, and so she's going to be on it.
My brand new phone has been fucking up, and I just got it to work yesterday.
And then you assume he puts a crew together, and then at the end of it, he just says engage, and the way I imagine people lose their shit.
Well, I guess I know what I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. I love TNG. I watched all those growing up.
I did too.
Yeah.
I started
Counselor
watching
Troy in it because she got me through puberty. I mean,
yeah, that's actually there's some truth to that. Yeah. But 7 of 9 is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But true. But
I don't even
for
like
the
that
age,
series. But 7 of 9 is.
Jerry Ryan herself is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's another tangent we can't get into right now.
Yeah, no, we really can't.
I have to go to bed.
No, but I'm really excited.
I don't have
really
the sock
excited.
ready.
I started rewatching TNG recently as my as my sort of gap filler space. I was watching TNG. I got up to like season 3 or something. I don't remember how many there are, like 7 or 8 episodes.
It was really good though. TNG was really good. I liked it. And again, I was always Star Wars above Star Trek. The old one. When you got into the Next Generation shit, I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can get it all the time, which again, kind of to revolve it all back to close this episode out, revolving back to this whole streaming thing, where you can stream all of this shit now, where you're going to get Star Trek, and you're going to get at a minimum, 2 Star Wars shows. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the perfect time for this goddamn podcast.
Yeah, and this is the sort of golden age of this sort of stuff that could never get made on traditional television.
Yeah.
And no one's going to greenlight a Picard-only movie, right?
Yeah.
And you can't tell it. It could last 10 episodes. Like, they could mean it to last 10 episodes. Like, we've talked about some of these other shows might only be 10, 11
but
episodes.
But it could be an epic 10 episodes,
yes.
And then that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's just these things, they're there for a little while, and then they're gone.
They're telling really good stories over, a couple out, a bunch of hours in a way that traditional television never would have done, and movies aren't going to do either.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much what this entire show is about, is us looking for a really good story, and just tell us a good story, and we're going to follow it, and we're going to talk about it. I think that's kind of, that's the whole thing, really.
Have we talked about The Witcher?
I have one more Comic-Con related, very unofficial thing that I did not put on the list. Sorry, we can go all night though. What else?
Well, yeah, I can. I've got a little blue pill that says I can.
I can't.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, so I just want to say one thing.
I just talked about a sock and Counselor Troy, and now you're worried about the blue pill.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is about Star Wars. So we were talking earlier.
I swear to God, if they make an Ewok special on Disney Plus, I am all in. No, I'm all in. Go ahead.
You're all in.
Yo, yeah, fuck it.
What is this? A porn Ewok special?
No, just probably.
Wow. It is when John makes it.
I don't know. Blue pills and socks. I figured that's where we're headed. No, so this is about the last Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker. So this isn't an official thing, okay? But
this is next episode, yeah.
No, this was well.
This is coming up because we have to really break it down.
So we were talking earlier about huge Star Wars fan, movie director that's doing the Jay and Silent Bob thing, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I guess I got my own, but Kevin Smith. We're talking about Kevin Smith. So he said something at Comic-Con that people recorded or whatever. It was talking about after he had his heart attack or whatever, he got invited to come look at the production of future Star Wars movie, right? Yeah. And there was this thing that people told him to go see, which was this particular set. You know, they said, "Oh, you got to see this. It's going to melt your mind." Were the words he used. It's going to melt your mind.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like the last few minutes of this movie are going to fucking blow your mind.
So he toiled over it, and he asked the director, and he was like, "Well, if you're a huge fan and you love it, you know, you want to be shocked by this, don't go see it." And so he didn't end up going to see it, right? But so nice. The only reason I bring this up though is, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So this is the Rise of Skywalker. You have to assume that the Jedi are coming back in some form, but she's not a trained Jedi. She doesn't follow the Jedi ways. She's not part of the Jedi religion, as it were.
No, I think the Jedi are gone, and I think that they're going to name them the Skywalkers.
Right. So what could that final scene be that would melt the mind of a Star Wars fan?
I don't know.
Especially Kevin Smith, for Christ's sake. This guy's obsessed with Star Wars. Like, what could melt his mind? You know, you could have a vision of like some new Jedi temple or something. It's like, it doesn't even work. That doesn't melt your mind. What could it possibly be?
I have no idea.
I don't have any idea either, but I just thought it was worth mentioning because he brought the story up and said, you know, I didn't go see it. I don't know what it is. So.
All right. Well, we'll add that to our Star Wars talk. So you're gone next week, right, Paul?
Yep.
Okay. So then after that, the 6th, we're all here?
I'm gone.
I'm gone.
You're gone.
I'm gone too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's when I'm by myself. All right. So we'll figure it out. Then one of our next talks is going to have to be soon, the Star Wars talk, and we'll get into all that shit.
You'll be by yourself with a sticky Ewok doll.
That's right,
August
damn it.
13th, it sounds like.
You're talking about every one of my Saturday nights, all right? All right, so we'll get back with you guys soon. Let us know what you think. We'll come back and we have to get into some more conspiracy theories and some more shit that's coming up in the rest of the year. And, we'll move on from there. So let us know what you guys think of this episode, what you guys think of the rest of the year coming up. Anything you want to hear from us, because we haven't really touched on that briefly. Then we'll kind of establish it from there. And then hit us up on whatifgeeks@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and all that other happy shit. And, say hi, fuckers. We're waiting for you. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Am.
Did we talk about The Witcher?
Did we?
Perfect ending.
Good night, Witcher.